Back with us on the C Morning Show. Well, every 17th of November, this is according to the Indonesian Health Ministry,
Right.
it is the National COPD Day.
Correct. COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is a type of lung disease featuring abnormalities in the small airways within the body. Now, this condition leads to hampered airflow, and it affects both men and women alike.
Oh my. Did you know that according to the WHO, COPD is the third, leading cause of death worldwide, killing 3.23 million people in 2019. Meanwhile, another data indicates that nearly 90% of COPD fatalities that occur below 70 years old took place in low and middle income countries.
All right, with such alarming numbers, we should know more about this. So what are the main causes and symptoms of COPD, and is it preventable? Well, to find out the answers to some of these questions, hopefully, we're today joined by MMC Hospital General Practitioner, Dr. Alya Shafira, here in the studio. Good morning, Doc. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Thank you so much for answering our questions. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Yes, Paul mentioned a little bit about what it is, but what it is exactly?
Okay, so COPD, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a group of lung disease, lung problems that can cause breathing difficulties.
A group of, so it's a lot of diseases.
Two conditions.
Okay.
There's emphysema and chronic bronchitis.
Okay, I know what bronchitis is, and chronic just means
I've
you
had
have it
bronchitis
constantly,
before.
right?
Oh, yeah.
What's emphysema?
Oh, so emphysema is where the condition of our air sacs. So air sacs is one of the tiniest part of our lungs,
Right.
Yeah.
where the oxygen and the carbon dioxide are being changed.
Transformed,
Right. And it was damaged to the point that the air cannot go out. And the air sacs are damaged so that it was not flexible.
So what does COPD do to our lungs? Like bronchitis, I remember. It was 3 years ago when I had bronchitis and I had myself x-rayed, right? And it was so white, doc. So COPD does what to our lungs?
COPD does the damage, so we cannot breathe properly. But we need oxygen, right?
Yes.
Because we need oxygen, so our body cannot function properly, so we cannot do our activity like normal, like climbing stairs or maybe doing routine activity, and then you will feel hard to sleep at night,
Right.
and then you will cough all the time. Sometimes it produces sputum or phlegm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you feel tightness in your chest.
So it'd be harder to breathe.
Yeah, it will be hard to breathe.
All right.
It will be hard to breathe. Yeah, mostly that.
So how damaging can this get? Because obviously being out of breath when you walk up a set of stairs is one thing, but is it fatal?
It's sometimes like a sign of whether you're fit or not.
Right, but I sometimes think I'm just having a bad day that day.
Exactly.
Right? But how damaging can it get? Can it be fatal? Like how far along can this go?
Okay, the most fatal thing is respiratory failure.
Okay.
Which is
So,
what?
which is,
Stop breathing?
yes, you can stop breathing and you will stop breathing, and then your heart will also have a failure.
Right.
Right.
Because obviously it's like a chain reaction.
Yeah, you need oxygen, and then for the blood to go through our body.
So, is it curable?
Actually, for now, it's not curable, but
What,
it
Doc?
we can slow it down. We can slow down and prevent it for now.
Okay. Well, okay, maybe give us some good news then, because that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard as well that it's irreversible. So what are some of the things we need to do? Well, first, what are some of the signs we need to look for? Because I assume early detection is key in order for us to prevent any damage.
Okay, the early warning signs for COPD is one, the chronic cough. So the person with
dry?
COPD, yes, it can be dry, but it can be with the phlegm, the sputum.
Okay.
And then the chronic cough ranges about 4 weeks and more. So 4 weeks.
Okay, so if you have a cough and it doesn't seem to be going away,
Yeah.
that's a sign.
Even when you've medicated yourself with obat batuk, with cough
Yes.
and stuff. Okay, and then?
And then you will feel the tightness in your chest.
Okay.
Okay. You
Only
have
when you're doing activity or just at any time?
more.
Okay.
When you're doing activity,
Right.
you will feel more.
Okay.
And then you will also feel like you have weight loss.
Oh,
weight
really?
loss, and then lose muscle cells. Your muscle will weaken. And then, yeah, I think the four
Those
of
are
it.
the early
The four of it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What sort of habits that we do that may put us in risk of having COPD?
The number one cause and number one risk for COPD is smoking, cigarette smoking.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people, younger people, and older too, who smoke since early age, maybe from adults and younger adults. So maybe you will not get it now. You will not feel the symptoms now, but you will. You
When you're
can
40.
have the chance of it
Right.
in 20 or 30 years.
Oh, so it's something that builds up over time as
Yeah,
well.
it
What
was a
about-
long-term condition.
What about vape, Doc?
Vape can also could also cause COPD, but more cigarette. It's more toxic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a bit of prevention then, because these are some of the things. Obviously, smoking can be avoided. You just don't do it. But what are some of the things we can do to mitigate the risks of getting COPD?
Okay. To prevent COPD, okay. Number one, of course, stop smoking.
Okay.
Stop smoking
Simple
for the
enough.
earliest of age.
All right.
And then, if you're a secondhand smoke, just say no, and all you can just prevent. Just don't be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just avoid the place
Just avoid
entirely.
the place entirely. You can say to your friends, but it's for your own health.
Yeah.
That's okay.
A lot of places, by the way, indoors establishments now are not allowing smoking.
Even bars?
But a couple of them, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's like Europe.
But,
I
but there's like an
it.
outdoor area, and people like it's kind of like how it is in North America now. A lot of places are non-smoking.
Nice. There we go. And then what else, Doc?
And then you have to keep active, keep being active.
Okay. Pilates.
Exercising,
Yes.
that's good for you. And then,
And that's kind of like strengthening our lungs, is it? Because
yeah,
you do
Is it
cardio.
you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, cardio. right?
cardio is good.
Okay.
Not Pilates then. Pilates is not cardio.
Low intensity.
Low intensity.
Right.
And then what else, Doc?
What else? Keep eating healthy,
All right.
healthy diet.
Right.
Okay, and then
Lay off the fried food. Yeah.
and then if you work in maybe dusty, smoky environment,
Right.
you should also wear personal equipment. You know,
Okay.
Like mask, you mean?
like mask. Okay, because the other than cigarette smoking, it's the irritants like dust and fumes. It's also
Can be triggering,
Can
yeah.
be triggering. It
Right.
could trigger the COPD. So workers in the factory,
Yes.
they should be aware of it.
Okay.
Could you kind of put us in perspective here? We know about asthma, pneumonia, and tuberculosis.
And
Those are the more
COVID-19.
common ones. Now COVID-19, obviously. How does this differ, and where does it rank in regards to its severity and our chances of getting it as opposed to one of the other ones, like TBC, like people get that sometimes, right? And it is a long illness as well.
Yeah.
Okay, for pneumonia, I will talk about pneumonia first. Pneumonia, you can get it from the earliest of age, from babies.
Right.
Babies, even until old people, until people are more than 60 years old. Okay, the symptoms, they will have fever, chills, while COPD do not.
Okay.
It's just cough.
It's just
Cough.
strictly a respiratory.
But there's a chance of COPD people can get a secondary infection.
Right.
So they have to be careful of it. Okay. For tuberculosis, the cause was bacteria, like the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. They will also have cough, the sputum. They will also have a mild range of fever. Okay. And then for pneumonia,
There was asthma.
Oh,
is
asthma.
more of
So asthma is often triggered by something the person's allergic to,
okay.
like dust, or maybe food allergy, like some
Really?
people, peanuts.
Yes. I have sports-induced asthma, by the way.
Ah.
Or I did. And the way I was able to get overcome it, was to do sports, ironically. That's what my doctor said years ago when I was in high school. He said, you know how
For
you
you,
get over
mate.
that? You're still young. He's like, just do sports like swimming that forces your respiratory
Yeah.
to work. And then I got over it. I didn't need my inhaler anymore. But yeah, those are triggers. So although the symptoms may seem a bit milder on the surface, for example, like no fever, but this could be a much more severe thing in my eyes because it's irreversible.
Yeah, it could be more severe because it's a long-term disease and we do not know about it. Yeah. So when we know that we get it, it's already worse.
sense. Yeah.
So people knows about it in the later stage.
So should we do a, it's like a regular checkup, and how regular should it be to make sure that, hey, we don't have COPD?
Oh yeah, we can get checkups on it.
Ah.
Yeah, the doctors will test you on spirometry. Spirometry is a test on to know if you have obstructive lung disease.
Okay.
How do you
will
do
know.
that? Is it like invasive?
They will use a tube, like a mouthpiece that is connected to a tube to a machine, and you will blow air on it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Blow air on it, and then the machine will know the level of your
How
lung
strong.
function, how strong your
Right.
lung is.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like those
Yeah.
O2 tests that those runners take, and it measures your lung capacity and the strength of your lungs.
Ah, is that
Makes
it?
sense.
Yeah.
So how often or how regular should we have this tested?
Are you getting? You're thinking
I'm
about
a
you
little
might
bit.
want to
I'm
get
a little
checked.
bit.
You can get it if you don't have symptoms. You can do it once.
Okay.
A year.
Once a year.
Okay.
But if this test has some abnormality, okay, you should do regular checkups based on a doctor too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
So,
there, yes,
yeah.
go on, go on.
Go ahead, please.
No, I was just like, is there anything else that we haven't asked, but actually the audience needs to know about COPD?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, COPD is just it's like a silent disease. It's like
Yes.
a silent disease,
I know.
and it builds up over time.
Right.
So we need to be careful about it, and
Just be aware, I guess.
yeah, we have to be aware of it because we are surrounded by smokes.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of
Cigarette,
Indonesia
pollution.
especially.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
You go to anywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people smoke, and while you will not get it every day, but it builds up. So yeah, you have to be aware of it.
Especially if there's somebody in your household. That
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
like, you don't
yeah.
realize
You have
it.
to think about other people.
Yeah.
That's true.
Silent
Maybe it's
killer.
maybe it's okay for you, but how is your family? How is your friends?
Yeah.
How about kids? Is this something that kids are at risk at? Because you did say 40 and above, and it does take time. It's a long disease. But are kids at risk at all?
Kids have
Yeah.
a risk
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
because it builds up.
there you go. So
There you go.
some scary info. Wish we had some nicer and more pleasant information. But again, this information is meant to educate you.
It
And hopefully that
is.
more of you are aware. Because I was not aware of COPD. I was aware of bronchitis. I did not know that it's COPD.
I mean, it was mentioned earlier, you know, when we had COVID entering the world, including Indonesia back in 2020. I spoke to a doctor friend who mentioned about COPD, and I'm like, well, what's
that?
what's
Exactly.
COPD? You know, it's like, and apparently it makes it worse if you have COVID and COPD at the same time, no?
Yeah, COPD is worse, but if you have a secondary infection like pneumonia, tuberculosis, COVID, it can worsen.
Okay.
Okay. Peeps, the message is, it's not to scare you off. It's basically to better take care of your health.
Our health. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Dr.
Doc.
Alya.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
That was very insightful. And now it's time for us to take another short break. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on social media because we are on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at See Today News. We'll be right back. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.